Howdy-ho, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns, and welcome to Let's Talk Oilers. Oilers versus Philly recap. Game 18, November 12th, 2025. So let's start with the pregame. So the lines are announced, and here we go again. Mangiapane and Savoy are with McDavid. So unless McDavid is ready to do it himself again, this line is most likely wasted and will be separated by period 2. It wasn't, but it was wasted. Mangiapane and Savoy have zero chemistry with McDavid. I've been saying this for all season, really. I keep saying it. Give other players a chance with McDavid. He needs a shooter and a grinder who will be a net front presence. So I'm just, our best line, game in and game out, is Leon, Rosevich, and Podkolzin. So you got Leon, who's an excellent passer and a decent two-way player. You got Rosevich. He's a shooter. He's got a shooter mentality, and he's not afraid to get into the dirty spots, and he shoots. And then you have Podkolzin. He doesn't have the hands or passing ability or shooting ability of Leon and Rosevich, but he's a grinder, and he gets into those corners, and he digs out those pucks, and he gets them the puck. And then he gets to the front of the net, and he's a bother in front of the net. And they've been our best line. It's a simple little setup. You have a grinder, you have a shooter, and you have a passer. You take a look at McDavid's line when RNH and Hyman are healthy. You have McDavid, who is probably him or Leon are the best passers in the league. You have RNH, he's an elite two-way player. There's no other way to put it. Plus, he will shoot. And then you have Hyman, who is a grinder. He wins those board battles. He gets the other guys the puck, and then he gets to the front of the net, and he's a nuisance there. It's the exact same design as the Leon, Podkolzin, and Rosevich line. And it works. It's always worked. So we look at Mangiapane, McDavid, and Savoy. You have McDavid, bona fide superstar, two-way player, passer, and can shoot. You have Mangiapane, he's Zach Hyman light, but he doesn't have the same results as Hyman because he is Zach Hyman light. He doesn't go into the boards and win those battles even half as much as Hyman does, and he doesn't go to the front of net as much. And then you have Savoy, that's Yamamoto. He just stands on the perimeter. That's not the chemistry you need on that line to be successful. And I know Bob Stauffer has a huge man-boy crush, whatever the hell is going on there. It seems like Bob has shifted from Bouchard to Savoy this year because Bouchard's been really struggling. So Bob's jumped on the Savoy bandwagon, and he's gooing all over himself every time Savoy steps on the ice. So Mangiapane and Savoy have zero chemistry with McDavid, and I don't care what anyone else says. I keep saying it. Give other players a chance with McDavid. He needs a shooter and a grinder who will be the net front presence. Honestly, I'd try, while that RNH is out and Hyman's out, I would try Howard and Phillip. Howard in the RNH spot and Phillip in the Hyman spot. To me, it's not even to me. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. We already know the result. There's no chemistry there. No matter how much Stauffer wants there to be, imagines there isn't. The rest of the projected lineup is Podkolzin, Leon, and Rosevich together. Howard, Henrique, and Fredericks together. And then Janmark, Phillip, and Lazar together. On defense, it's Nurse and Wallman as our number one pairing. Kulak and Emberson as our number two pairing. And then Ekholm and Bouchard as our number three pairing. And I'm not stating that incorrectly. Bouchard and Ekholm have not been good this season, even though they get all the monster minutes. They get the top unit power play. They haven't been good. So I'm not going to call them our top pairing. When the game is on the line, you want Nurse and Wallman out there. Skinner is in net. I still haven't heard what's up with Regulus, so I Googled it, and there's nothing on Google about it. So I'm going to be guessing it's maintenance for concussion, but, nobody's talking about it, so I don't know. I have no clue. Listen, if you've watched my previous videos, you know I'm frustrated with Nobby refusing to move off of his bias when things are not working. McDavid, Mangiapane, and Savoy are not working. and they haven't been all season. But as frustrated as I am, I hope they prove me wrong. But I don't think they will. Stauffer is on the radio expressing his man crush on Savoy, stating Savoy needs to replace R&H on the top line when Heyman's back. Are you bleeping kidding me? Like, seriously, are you freaking kidding me? Like, Stauffer, grab hold of Savoy's hand, take him into the back room, do whatever the hell you two are doing together on that weird ass relationship you got going, and then shut up about it already. I shit you not. And that's bleeping insanity. Just pure insanity. And as I pointed out before, this garbage mindset from our media is a big issue plaguing our team because people hear it and they repeat it. And you repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth. The liberal mantra. Before this game, Savoy had 2 points and a -8 in 16 games played. He's played with McDavid. He's played on the top power play. He had 2 points and a -8 rating. How is that top 6 deserving? Seriously, somebody come in to the comment section and explain that one to me, because I really don't understand it beyond Stauffer's weird ass fixation. All right, so let's get to period 1. Oh my God, what a goal. 10 seconds into the game. Okay, I'm just kidding. But it got your blood pumping, didn't it? Best early scoring chance come from Janmark, Phillip, and Lazar. Lazar just couldn't get a clean shot. He just couldn't get a hold of that puck. But, it was there. It really was there. Amazing chance by Leon to Rosevich to Podkolzin for a great shot on net. Like I said, they have been our best line every game. 12 minutes into the first, I've noticed McDavid once. Him and Bouchard did a drive. Haven't heard Savoy or Mangiapane's name once. Keep this in mind for when this game's over, because Savoy actually has a decent game. But I want you to remember, 12 minutes into the first, you haven't heard Mangiapane or Savoy's name mentioned. Because at the end of the game, I'm going to talk about Stauffer again, and I want you to remember this. Great save by Skinner. So for the 2 lines getting offensive zone time, it's been Leon, Rosevich, and Podkolzin, and Phillip, Janmark, and Lazar. The other 2 lines had almost no offensive zone time. Philly penalty, 6:17 hooking, Oilers power play. This was an ugly power play. It was insanely perimeter. Well, McDavid wasn't on the power play because he was getting his skates fixed for the first minute 13. So Howard replaced McDavid, and all they did, they didn't even get a shot on net. They just went round and round and round, but there was nothing. There was nothing there. McDavid's back at 47 seconds remaining in the power play. Nothing happens, but at least there was some, they were kind of going to the net at least after McDavid got back. Phillip gets a shot on net after the power play. Lord forbid Phillip get any power play time. But Lazar comes crashing into the net, shaking up the Philly goalie. McDavid and Mangiapane actually came together for a good scoring chance in the final 3 minutes of the period. So 17 minutes, there was nothing from that line. And that was McDavid and Mangiapane. Notice whose name's not in there. Podkolzin and Leon and Rosevich get another good scoring chance. These 3 work so well together as a line. Oilers goal, 54.6 seconds remaining in the first. Bouchard from McDavid and Savoy. McDavid does a sharp angle shot that's stopped. McDavid goes behind the net, comes out on the other side, grabs his rebound, sends it over to Bouchard, who does a one-timer, boom, in the net. Savoy gets the gifted secondary assist that really had nothing to do with the play. And you know from my other videos how I feel about those secondary assists that aren't really involved in the play. That was all on McDavid, and then Bouchard buried it. 1-0 Oilers, and that was the end of the first. Shots on goal were 13-5 for the Oilers. Second period. Leon, Podkolzin, and Rosevich, Nurse, and Wallman absolutely dominate Philly. It was so bad, I didn't catch how long it was, but I'm going to say it was like a minute and a half to maybe 2 minutes of domination. The Boo Birds have appeared in Philly. They were booing the team mercilessly because they couldn't get the puck out of their zone. Like, these guys absolutely dominated the Philly team. The Philly has gone 15 minutes from the first to the second period with no shots on net. At 12:30 of the second, the shots on goal were 20-5 for the Oilers. Like I said, it was pure domination by Leon's line with Nurse and Wallman. Then this was a bizarre new line. Philip with Howard and Rosevich. I don't know what was going on there. They got into the offensive zone. They didn't get a shot, but they got in the offensive zone. So I've said before, I feel so sorry for McDavid. There's no chemistry between McDavid, Savoy, and Mangiapane. Just saw McDavid carry the puck into the Philly zone. Savoy was absolutely out of position, and Mangiapane, the trailer, fumbles the pass. And no shot, no pressure, nothing. What I wrote is, come on, Nobby. Enough of this failed experiment already. Oilers penalty at 5:22, Wallman slashing. Philly goal at 4:22, power play goal. So it's 1-1. What I wrote was, why was Bouchard on the penalty kill? I'm going to keep asking. Bouch makes himself as small as possible to not get hit by the puck. Ekholm is standing in front of Skinner with two Philly players completely uncovered. So they're standing there. Ekholm standing behind. Skinner can't see a damn thing. He's got these three monsters all standing in front of him. And Skinner never sees the puck through the three screens. This shot should have been blocked by Bouchard, but he got himself as tiny as possible again, which he does all the time. I don't understand why he's on the power or the penalty kill if he's not willing to block shots. And I said this at the start of the season. I didn't want him on the penalty kill because I don't want him blocking shots. But if he's going to be out there on the penalty kill, then it is his job to block the damn shot. It's one or the other. Either don't put him on the penalty kill, or when he's on the penalty kill, block the damn shots. Amazing tip by Podkolzin from Leon, but was saved. End of the second, shots on goal were 24-11 Oilers, 1-1 tie. Listen, if we lose this game in the third, it's on Nobby, refusing to change up our top line. Leon, Podkolzin, and Rosevich have been all over Philly. And Philip Lazar and Janmark have been surprisingly effective in a very limited ice time. If McDavid's line was able to carry the play even remotely close to Leon's line, we would be up 3 or 4-1. No word of a lie. But we were playing with one top line and one fourth line. And that's what we had this game. But McDavid, Mangiapane, and Savoy have zero chemistry. And I'm just going to keep saying it until somebody bloody well listens to me. And very little presence out there after 2 periods. That's on Knobloch and no one else. As is him constantly putting Bouchard out on the penalty kill. He's terrified of blocking shots. And if you're on the PK, you need to be willing to block shots. Third period. Philly penalty at 19:57, high sticking. Oiler power play. No shots on net on the power play. That's not acceptable. Oiler penalty at 15:48. Emberson holding. This was a horrible call. Emberson and the Philly player were in the corner. They were battling. They were both holding each other. Like, it should have either been both of them or neither of them. You don't pick one out of them. But we killed it, so. And what I said, though, is, again, why the hell is Bouchard on the PK? I don't get it. He's horrible on the PK. So Nobby seems to have put Fredericks and Howard with Leon, but for some reason, Savoy, Mangiapane, and McDavid remain together. Someone make this make sense to me, please. I would really like to understand this. Leon, Podkolzin, and Rosevich back together, finally, thank you. Nice back check by Podkolzin. This is what Podkolzin brings to that line. Oiler penalty at 5:35. Goaltender interference. Fredericks, this is not a good penalty by Frederick to take at that point in the game with only 5:35 remaining. He just ran the goalie, plain and simple. He wasn't pushed in, he wasn't angled in, he just steamrolled the goalie. Any 2-minute penalty with only 5 minutes remaining in the game. After the whistle, Janmark and the Philly goalie pick up coincidental minors for unsportsmanlike. So at 2:30 remaining in the game, McDavid, Leon, and Rosevich finally together. With 23.5 seconds left in the game, Philly scores. Slot shot, redirects 3 times, like it bounced off 3 players, and then went through Another 3-player screen. So again, Skinner never saw this shot into the net. 2-1 for Philly with 23.5 seconds remaining. Goal is under review for offside. No goal. Play was offside by that much. We got so lucky here. So it's 1-1 again with 36.8 seconds remaining in the game. End of the third, shots on goal, 30-20 for the Oilers, 1-1. Overtime. Oilers goal at 3:41. Rosevich from Savoy and Wallman. Wallman battles in the neutral zone, gets the puck, passes to Rosevich. Rosevich pokes it to Savoy. Savoy comes around, so now you have a 2-0 coming down. Savoy gets down to the right side of the net. The Philly goaltender has to play him, and he passes over to Rosevich, who one-times it to the roof of the net, and we win. It was the right play by Savoy. It was a nice play, and it was a play made entirely possible by the work of Wallman. Oilers win 2-1. When the game ends, I switch on 880, and as soon as I turned on the radio, Stauffer just tried to claim Savoy is the Oilers' 4th best forward on the team this season. I'm not kidding. Are you bleeping kidding me? McDavid, Leon, RNH, Rosevich have been our top 4 this season. Like, it's not even remotely close. Savoy got a nice primary assist, as I just described, and a gimme secondary to double his points to 4 in 17 games played, despite playing with McDavid numerous games and getting some first unit power play. Stauffer is such a biased commentator. He really is. Now, he's trying to say Savoy was the best Oiler on the ice. You just heard my recap. How much did you hear Savoy's name in my recap? Because he wasn't anywhere close to the best Oiler on the ice. He got a primary assist in overtime when it's 3-on-3. So you got lots of wide open ice, which benefits him because he's a very fast skater. Okay. So that benefits him. And he got a gimme secondary assist. And then he did nothing the rest of the game. So how is that your best player? Now Stauffer is trying to say Savoy was the best Oiler on the ice. What the hell? He was invisible when playing with McDavid. And I've been going over this for multiple games. That line is not good together. You have no idea how much his bias crap drives me nuts. It really does. I don't listen to other team commentators because they're so biased, they're homers. And I don't listen to Stauffer when he's doing the games if I can help it, because it's the same thing. He's a homer. 90% of what he says is rah, rah, rah homerism. It's why I like Louis and Jack so much, is they just call the games. They don't do the homer crap. Thank God for Rob Brown. Rob is calling Stauffer out on his nonsense, because Stauffer was doing, well, we got to send RNH down to the third line so that Savoy can stay on the top line when Hyman's back. And Rob's like, are you nuts? No. When RNH is back, he goes on the top line with Hyman and McDavid. And you don't change the second line of Podkolzin, Rosevich, and Leon. So that puts Savoy down on the third line. But Stauffer, I wondered last year if Stauffer has stock in Bouchard's contract, and I'm starting to wonder it about Savoy, because what he's saying, he wants Savoy on that top line or in the top 6 so badly that he's willing to sabotage the team to get it. And it's insanity to me. Yeah, the kid got 2 points tonight, and I'm happy for that. But let's not blow this out of the realm of reality here. Matt Savoy, as it stands right now, is not better than Connor McDavid. He is not better than Zach Hyman. He is not better than Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He is not better than Leon, Rosevich, or Podkolzin. He is not better than any of our top 6 forwards. So it's absolute insanity to think he's replacing those guys. So my 3 stars for tonight's game are: number 1 star is Rosevich with the game-winning goal. Number 2 star is Skinner for we won the game because of him, and a .950 save percentage average. And then number 3 is Savoy for 2 assists. The 2 slugs for the game is Fredericks and Knobloch. So Rosevich is quickly becoming my favorite Oiler. This season, and seems to be one of those players who can play with anyone. And I like players like that. That's why I've always been a big fan of Leon Draisaitl. Is you can put Leon with anyone and he's going to make it work 90% of the time. You know, I was just talking to my brother yesterday, and my brother brought up that he liked Hall, which I always liked Taylor Hall too. And I said, yeah, you know, nothing against Adam Larson, but I wanted Hall to stay on this team because we had Hall, we had Leon, and we had McDavid. You put McDavid on the first line, you put Hall on the second line, and you have Leon floating between those two because he could play with both those guys. And that's a hell of an offensive two lines. And then you get a grinder out there like Hyman or like Podkolzin, you know, and that's money right there. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Rosevich. Even when he's not scoring, you notice him, and he's always working for his chances. Another thing I like, Skinner is why we won. Make no mistake about it. He made the big saves when they were required and finished with a .950 save percentage for the game. Savoy got a very nice primary assist on the game-winning goal, and you know I've given him his props already, and a gimme assist, secondary assist. I will say if Savoy was on a line he had chemistry on, who knows what he could really do. You know, it's not just McDavid being hurt by Savoy up on that first line with Savoy and Majapani up with McDavid. It's Savoy being hurt because he has no chemistry with Connor McDavid. And he has no chemistry with, it's three individuals, and they're not a line. They're just three individuals out there. And that's the problem with that line. I'm not saying they don't have skill. They do, but they're not a line. They're just three individuals. Fredericks took a really stupid penalty that almost cost us the game in the final minutes. I get what he was trying to do, but you got to be smarter at that moment of the game. You just have to. You can't be running a goalie. They're going to call that every single time. If he had ran the goalie in the second period, I wouldn't even have batted an eye. I would have said worth it. But in the last 5 minutes of a game, basically, no, you don't take a penalty like that. And as for Knobloch, that first line was terrible, and it needed to be broken up early in the game. Also, Bouchard should never be on the penalty kill, so Knobloch gets a slug because, as I said, I'm done with him playing his favorites. I want the players to earn their spots. Also, I found out after the game, he benched Noah Phillips for the last 8 minutes of the third period. And I don't know why. And even Stauffer and Rob Brown, and nobody knows why. Nobody saw anything wrong, but Noah Phillips was benched. So chances are Noah Phillips will be in the press box next game because that's how Knobloch works. So screw you, Knobloch. You get a slug for being a slug. Truth is, if we had two top lines, this is not an OT win. It's a regulation win. I'm thrilled we won. I really am. Make no mistake about it. I am an Oilers fan, and I will always cheer the Oilers. And I don't care if we win sloppy, we win dirty, we win lucky, or we win skilled. But when I see problems, I am going to call it out. I'm not going to be a raw guy. It shouldn't have been this tight against Philly. It really shouldn't have been. So we got the win. We got the 2 points. Awesome. But it should have never gone to overtime. We're seeing this time and time again this year. Is these games, we're going to overtime with teams we should absolutely not be going to overtime against. And at a certain point, we have to look at the coaching. Like, I know Knobloch's not getting fired. He just got an extension. They're not going to fire him. But I said it last game. I'm going to say it again. Or I said it 2 games ago. Bowman has to pull Knobloch aside and read him the riot act already. Because this crap is going to cost us in the long run if it keeps going. These are the easy point games. The second half of the season, it gets a lot harder to get points. So we should be padding our points right now. Next game is tomorrow, Thursday, today when you're seeing this video. Next game is today, Thursday, versus the Blue Jackets at 5:30 Mountain on Sportsnet. And that's my recap for this game. If you like the video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share, it does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Takes 1 second to subscribe, costs you absolutely nothing, helps me immensely. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. always feel free to leave a comment. Please come into the comments. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Like, are you a Stauffer fan? Does he drive you as crazy as he drives me? Because he drives me right around the freaking wall. Come in the comments. Let me know. Also, leaving a comment really does help me with the YouTube algorithm and getting more eyes on my videos. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.